More dying en masse on the beach there. Interesting stuff. Thanks, Miranda. Let's talk a little bit more about those new reports that correspondence between former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and trusted advisor Sidney Blumenthal about Libya were withheld from the Special Select Committee on Benghazi. Politico reports that Blumenthal handed over 120 pages of fresh documents just yesterday related, or I think last week, related to Libya and Benghazi that the committee had never seen before. So why didn't they come from Hillary Clinton? Joining me right now is Sarah Westwood. She's an investigative reporter for the Washington Examiner. Why didn't these emails come to light in the first place, Sarah?
That's a great question. Right now, the committee is trying to parse out whether Hillary Clinton withheld the emails or whether the State Department withheld them. But what we do know is that those emails were not provided to the committee upon its initial request. It was Sidney Blumenthal who brought forward those emails when he was subpoenaed late last month.
The thing that I still can't seem to get around is that, these types of officials are required by law to keep a record of these communications so that we, the public, can have some sort of accountability for them, and that doesn't seem to be the case here either.
Absolutely not. And the real problem with Sidney Blumenthal's relationship with Hillary Clinton is that he was providing unvetted intelligence outside the normal channels of the State Department. And what we've seen from the emails that the State Department has released is that Sidney Blumenthal provided the bulk, if not all, of Hillary Clinton's intelligence regarding Libya, and none of it was fact-checked by the normal people who would do so at the State Department, so we don't know how reliable it is. That's something that the House Select Committee on Benghazi is now having to go back and do, and it really sets up a lot of questions for the committee, for the public, and for reporters about why an informal advisor whose employment was blocked from the State Department was providing this really sensitive and really crucial information in the run-up to a terror attack.
That was my next question. Tell us a little bit more about that aspect of the story, because Sidney Blumenthal and Hillary Clinton did want him to work underneath her at the State Department, but the White House said no.
They did say no because Sidney Blumenthal, he's been with the Clintons since the 90s, but he's really divisive in the Obama world because during the 2008 primaries, he pushed out a lot of negative information about President Obama and was really a pit bull for Hillary Clinton during the primaries, which she ultimately lost. And so when it came time for Hillary Clinton to select her top staff at the State Department, it was reportedly Rahm Emanuel, who is then President Obama's chief of staff, who said there's no way this guy is working in our administration. And now it's clear from the correspondence that has come out that Hillary Clinton circumvented that decision and still used Sidney Blumenthal as a main source of intelligence the way she might have if he had been allowed to work at the State Department.
Now let's take a look at the State Department a little bit more in the question about what they may be redacting or excluding from these emails when they might be released. You have a new column up right now about this same issue. Quote, the officials excised details of a cover-up of misconduct by Clinton's security team. Also, the edits raised concerns that investigators were subjected to undue influence from the agency officials. What kind of undue influence are you talking about?
We're talking about some of Hillary Clinton's top staff, including Cheryl Mills, who's very well known for her loyalty to the Clintons, intervening in instances where ambassadors and other high-ranking officials were accused of some pretty serious stuff, including pedophilia, sexual assault, and other issues. And these high-level State Department officials were intervening in these investigations, as these new documents show, stopping them from taking place. And it's sort of a tiny window into the way Hillary Clinton's State Department was run, and it raises questions about how a Clinton White House would be run.
Yeah, it does raise a lot of questions, and you talk about that stuff. It's very, you can understand why some of her staffers might want to have it covered up. It raises even more questions too, Sarah, about whether or not we can get the full story from the State Department, which apparently is holding all of Hillary Clinton's emails, at least the ones that have not been released just yet. Sarah, please do stick around. We're going to continue our conversation, talk a little bit more about this, and also talk about Rachel Dolezal, the gift that keeps on